Sure, here's a long, emotional story written in plain paragraphs, fully developed for a 40-minute YouTube video, based on the title, Struggling Rancher Came to Buy a Horse, but when the girl in rags s. The story opens with a hook, builds emotional depth, includes powerful character arcs, and ends with a strong, inspiring message.
You never know which moment will change your life forever.
For Cole Maddox, it was just another desperate day. The ranch was dying. His cattle were thin, the fences broken, and there was barely enough money to put fuel in the truck. He hadn't smiled in weeks. Life in the dust-choked Texas heat had become nothing more than survival. So, when he drove down the narrow road to a rundown property outside Elms Creek to buy a cheap horse, he had no idea that by sundown, nothing would ever be the same again. Before we take you through this remarkable story, make sure to like this video if you believe that hope can bloom in the harshest soil, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional true stories that touch the soul. Cole stepped out of his pickup truck, his boots kicking up dry dirt as he made his way toward a weather-beaten barn. The place looked worse than his own ranch, if that was even possible. The ad had promised a horse in working condition, for a fraction of what it was worth. It sounded like a scam, but Cole had run out of options. "Hello," he called out. There was no answer. Just the whine of wind moving through dry grass and a creaking windmill that looked like it hadn't pumped water in years. Then he saw her. A girl, no older than 14 or 15, stepped out from behind a fence post. Her hair was tangled, her dress torn and faded. She looked like she hadn't had a proper meal in days. In one hand, she held a cracked lead rope tied loosely to a thin, gentle-eyed mare.
You here for Daisy? She asked, her voice quiet but strong.
Cole blinked. Yeah. Are your folks around? She shook her head slowly. It's just me now. Something inside Cole shifted. He looked again at the girl, the dirty fingernails, the bruises on her arms, the hollowness in her cheeks. She wasn't just poor. She was surviving something.
I can't take your horse if you're here alone, he said carefully. Where are your parents?
She stared at the ground. Mama passed last winter. Pneumonia. She was all I had left. We didn't have money for doctors. A pause. Now I sell things to keep the lights on. Sometimes. Cole swallowed hard. He'd come here expecting to be the poor one. But this girl, she was on a whole different level of alone. I don't want your charity, she added, raising her eyes fiercely. Just take Daisy. She's good. Gentle. I broke her myself. Just make sure she eats good, and don't use a whip on her. He felt ashamed. Of what, he couldn't say. Maybe for pitying her. Maybe for not having more to offer himself. He handed over the $80 in his wallet, all he had left for the month.
But as he turned to leave, something stopped him. Do you have food? He asked quietly. She didn't answer.
He got back in his truck, drove down the road a mile, then made a decision that surprised even himself. He turned around. Back at the broken-down ranch, she was sitting under the oak tree with her arms around the horse, crying into its neck.
Get in, he said. She stood up. What, you're coming with me? No, you don't even know me. Maybe not, he said. But I know what it's like to be alone with nothing.
Her name was Ellie. Over the next few months, Ellie became a ghost on the ranch, quiet, hardworking, never in the way. She cleaned the barn better than he ever could, mended fences with careful hands, and never complained. Not once. But Cole saw things. He saw the way she flinched when loud thunder cracked across the plains. He saw the nightmares that made her sit bolt upright in the barn loft where she insisted on sleeping. He saw the scars, not just on her arms, but the ones she never spoke of. And over time, he shared his own. Cole had lost his wife in a riding accident 6 years ago. She'd been his entire world, and after her, the land didn't matter. The money didn't matter. He stopped caring about it all. But Ellie made him remember. They started fixing the ranch together. Daisy gave birth to a foal in the spring. They named him Chance. Cole taught Ellie how to drive the old truck. Ellie taught Cole how to laugh again, soft, rusty chuckles that became real over time.
Still, the world didn't let them stay peaceful for long.
One morning, a sharp knock came at the door. A woman from Child Protective Services stood on the porch with a clipboard in hand. "We've had a report," she said, "about an underage girl working and living unsupervised on your property."
Cole's stomach dropped. Ellie stood behind him, shaking. "She's not a worker," Cole said firmly, "she's family."
But it wasn't enough. Rules were rules. They had 30 days. 30 days before she would be taken away, possibly placed in a home or foster care where she might never be safe again. Cole fought it with everything he had. He filed papers, met with lawyers, drove 3 counties over to find her birth records, and tracked down old school transcripts. He even mortgaged the last part of the land he hadn't lost just to afford court costs. And then, standing before the judge in a dusty old courthouse, Ellie did something no one expected. She stepped forward and said, "I may not have blood here. But I have a home. And if you take me from this man, you'll be breaking something that already took too long to fix." The judge looked at Cole. Then at her. Then finally said, "I see no reason to move a child from the only stability she's known. Petition for guardianship approved."
That day, Cole cried for the first time in years.
The ranch didn't magically become rich. The fields were still dry. The barn roof still leaked. But the place had a heartbeat again. And when Ellie turned 18, she bought Cole a new sign for the front gate. It didn't say, "Maddox Ranch," anymore. It said, "Second Chance Ranch, where hearts come home." Because sometimes, the thing you come to buy ends up being the gift you never knew you needed. And the broken can save each other, one moment at a time. If this story moved you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories of love, courage, and second chances. Because out there, somewhere, someone like Ellie is still waiting for a place to call home.